You guys know what time it is. Get strapped in and ready for some good times. This is the Blowed Out Podcast. What is up, everybody? It's your favorite fatty with a natty coming at you for the first episode of the third season of the Blowed Out Podcast. Episode 45. Man, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. That seems wild. Seems wild we've been doing it this long. It's been a wild ride. For this episode, I unfortunately am not with Maddie without a natty or Miss Lady. Figured we'd go a little old school, back to the kitchen, back to the early days, sitting at the kitchen counter doing this all by my damn self. Thinking back over the last 2 years, man, now that I'm thinking about it, it's a whole lot crazier. It's a lot of money, lots of learning, lots of realizing that it's not as easy as you think. That was probably the biggest thing that whooped my ass. If this is episode 45, I've probably done 70 just trying to make it work and trying to come up with stuff that didn't sound dumb. And then realizing that anybody may or may not be listening or may or may not care, so hell with it. Just having a good time, and if anybody likes it, cool. But again, it ain't cheap. It's wild. I know I keep stammering, so you have to forgive me for that. But I'm trying to think of it as I go. What is crazy is we went from the first episode and 1 or 2 listeners just here in northern Utah. Now, I just looked. We're pushing in the teens of hundreds, which sounds like a lot to me. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it's a hell of a lot more than I ever expected. But now we're in 11 countries, y'all. 11. United States, Canada, the UK, Italy, Senegal, Ireland, Germany, Australia, Japan, Ukraine, and France. That blows my gourd. That blows my mind, you guys. And thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you who listens. I hope you're still listening and enjoying it, having a good time. If you would like to donate towards the cause, or if you'd like to advertise your business, as we always say, drop us a line. Drop me a line. blowedoutpodcast@gmail.com, on Facebook, on Instagram, on, Lord, pretty much anywhere you look. Or iHeart, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, man, and a whole bunch I can't even tell you. It never ceases to amaze me what I thought was just going to be, a good time, which, again, it is a good time, but I never thought it would get this far. And I have no intentions on stopping anytime soon. So, unless all my equipment takes a dump and I ain't got no money to replace it, we're going to keep coming at you. So, hopefully you'll still keep listening. Anyhow, got a lot of stuff I wanted to touch on. Man, where do we start with this crazy, a month into this new crazy administration? I guess a month, roughly a month. Lord. And I've said it 1,000 times, and I probably sound like a broken record, but these are the times we're living in are wild, and they just keep getting wilder. I just on the way home tonight, I was hearing some stuff some chatter on the radio about the deportation stuff. And I realize that's a big issue, but I also have probably what is an unpopular opinion about it. I know a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but a fair amount of folks who came here or are here from other countries, both illegally and legally. I know a lot of people who fought very hard to get here. And in theory, all of them did. But I've got some very dear friends who went through all the motions, did what they were supposed to do, and have no regrets. My unpopular opinion about that, or about this topic, we went for so many years not enforcing these things that I kind of feel like there should be some sort of buffer in between not giving a damn from prior administrations, or basically not giving a damn, to all of a sudden just you're gone, to the ones that are here, that work very hard, and otherwise, other than being here illegally, are otherwise upstanding citizens. I feel like there should be some sort of provision to allow them to get their affairs in order before they're just kicked out. Again, I realize that a lot of people aren't going to agree with that. However, I feel, and I'm sure I could be wrong, I've been wrong once, but I feel like there is probably a large percentage of these folks who were either told by friends or family, that there were no repercussions to coming here illegally. Just get there and blend in and you'll be fine. So I thought about this on the way home, driving home tonight. Imagine being, let's say, a 20-year-old kid in, I don't know, one of these godforsaken, war-torn, guerrilla warfare, gang-infested places that, in all fairness, they didn't choose. The ones that were just born into one of these places, that they had no choice in the matter. Imagine being this 20-year-old kid and hearing from, I don't know, your uncle or your grandpa or your dad or your sister or whoever, someone on this side of the border, getting some sort of correspondence from them that says, hey, all you got to do is just get here and you'll be fine. That's been here for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years with absolutely no repercussions, because there was no enforcement. And as long as you were just a decent human and a fairly upstanding citizen, there were no repercussions. So you think, okay, cool. Well, this place sucks, so I'll just do that. And then overnight, all of a sudden we went from old administration that didn't enforce these things to now, okay, we're going to. Again, I feel like if they have done nothing wrong other than be here illegally, which, yes, I agree is a crime, but if they're otherwise decent humans and upstanding people or citizens, which I realize, don't come at me for calling them citizens, good Lord, I'm just saying, if you're not in and out of the clank, you're not just a dirt pile in general, at least give them like a 30-day window, to say, okay, you're here illegally, but otherwise you're a decent human. You have 30 days to get some sort of valid, progress, get your papers filled out, get them filed, whatever. Make the solid effort. You have 30 days to show that you actually want to stay here and be here and play by the rules. And at the end of those 30 days, if you haven't done X, Y, or Z, then you have to go. But like I said, I know a lot of good people who were just trying to get out of the shithole they were born into. So I think, they should get maybe a fair shake at least trying before they're just tossed on a bus and sent back to that place. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Everybody needs a hand every once in a while. Everybody needs a fair shake. We've all been in dirtbag situations, and I say it that way just for lack of better terms, but we've all been in a situation where we could use a hand or a come up. I don't think that's too much to ask. Again, I realize there are people who won't agree with that, and there are also people who will think that that's not enough. But I think that's a fair, middle-of-the-road option for the ones, again, who aren't otherwise criminals, aside from just being here with no papers. Again, that's just one fat man's opinion, and nobody listens to me anyhow, but I don't see why that would be such a big deal. Now, granted, that's only one of, as you guys all know, 10,000 facets of what's going on right now. The whole Doge thing, which I'm sure I'm not the only one, but why is... I assume there's some tinfoil hat person out there somewhere that goes, why is the new regulatory, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, why is Elon's new thing named after his coin? Or is that just me? I'm just a dumb mechanic, guys. I can't be the first one to put that together. I guarantee that. Now, having worked for the government for many, many years and been involved in governmental affairs for many more than that, I'm a huge fan of cutting fraud, waste, and abuse. I have seen things, and I've told many people over the years that there is some stuff that would blow your minds, which possibly a lot of you are seeing for the first time now. This, whatever, $2 billion to, whatever, a trans clinic in Uganda, or I don't know. I don't care to keep the specifics right there at the tip of my tongue, but it's ridiculous the amounts of money that we funnel to just everywhere in their dog for any damn thing under the sun when we don't have it to give. That's the part that will always blow my mind. We don't have any money to give, so how the hell are we giving money to anybody else? We're borrowing money. I believe at one point I saw the statistic of $5 million a day, and that's probably low in the grand scheme of things, or at the end of the day, that's probably a completely made-up number that's nowhere near the scale or the magnitude of the real number. But we don't have any money to give, so how the hell are we giving it to anybody else? Shit, if that's the case, I got a whole damn kitty factory going on over here that I carry around with me every day like a prosthetic. I should get some reparations. Call me crazy, but it's wild. Wild how this is just, and it's also wild the amount of people who aren't upset about it. Or rather, the ones who are upset that all of these things are being exposed and dealt with rather than being upset about them taking place in the first place. I told you guys we were gonna kind of head back to the old days where I get things a little more serious than usual, but I know some of you like that, some of you don't. Sometimes I feel like I should sprinkle in a little more seriousness than we do. I feel like we generally try and keep it a good mix, but either way. The other thing is the birthright thing, anchor babies. I realize that as of now, it's been put on hold, but you can't do that. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I certainly don't agree with everything he says. I don't agree with everything anyone says. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. As I'm sitting here looking at a picture of my dear sweet mother who accused me of being a Trumper or a MAGA, I don't take sides. I think half the stuff that comes out of all their faces is horse shit, so don't come at me for that. But the anchor baby thing, that's it, it's too late. That's a done deal. Now, if you want to if somehow rather they find a way to impose that moving forward, okay, that's between all the higher ups than me. But to try and make that retroactive, no, sorry. It's done and over. You don't get to grandfather some bullshit like that. Or the other way, they are grandfathered, so you don't get to mess with that. At the end of the day, we're all, Christ, there's a hell of a lot of us that are already anchor babies, so you don't get to go retro with that. Sorry. Moving forward, I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about it. At the end of the day, I probably don't really care all that much. Other than if they would just cap healthcare costs and housing costs and the things that they like to blame all these folks for driving up. At the end of the day, if they would just cap those, everybody would be fine. We technically have the real estate. I mean, yeah, I don't like Ogden getting any bigger and fuller than it already is, but it's going to happen. And if we just spread out a little more, then it's really not that big of a deal. We have a shit ton of real estate. All you LA people, sorry, I hope you keep listening, but stay in LA. Or the great big cities. You can go somewhere else. Just don't come to northern Utah, please. That's just my little request in all of this. You can come here to visit, but at some point you're gonna have to head back somewhere else because I'm not a huge fan of traffic. So there is that. I will say that. I don't need my commute taken any longer than it already does. I'm already going way farther than I want to, and that's only like 10 miles. But that's just me. Now, in all fairness, I should probably say that in some earlier episodes, I told everybody they should probably just calm down and wait for things to settle down and the dust to settle. I think we're still kind of in that phase, but it's not necessarily settling as much as I thought it would by now. I think we're absolutely still in the flex phase, but man, boy, he's really flexing this time. And again, I don't necessarily agree or disagree with most of it. Some of it I'm right down the middle. Some of it seems just dumb to get all worked up about. For instance, the Gulf of Mexico thing. I thought that was dumb as hell. Like, who cares? Why? Why are we wasting time and effort on this? Until I found out that it was the only way to circumvent a moratorium on drilling in the Gulf of Mexico was to not have it named the Gulf of Mexico anymore. So if we're going to continue to be self-sustaining, then yeah, I'm all for drilling. What are we going to do? Hurt it more than we already have? No. Come on now. It's not going to get any worse. My scrimps already taste like oil. I've gotten used to it. So drill it up. Keep them reserves. Keep our barrels full. I mean, do whatever we got to do. Like I said, we're not going to mess it up any worse than we already are. I realize that sounds bad, but hey, an asteroid's supposed to hit us in 7 years, so is it really going to matter? Nah. Drill, baby, drill. I'm fine with that. That is, or at least allegedly, the underlying reason for changing the name of the damn Gulf. Did I think it was stupid? Yes. Is it not so stupid when you look at it that way? Also true. I don't know. There's a lot of things like that. The DEI stuff, I don't know. I feel like I should stay neutral on that, but I can cite instances where that probably hasn't worked out so well. Do I care if, do I care if you're a transgender fire chief? No. Do I care if you can perform your damn job? Yes. So if you're a transgender fire chief, which we all know why I said that can't perform your duties as you're supposed to, then that's a problem. So that's where I do agree with it. If you got hired only because you're transgender, but not because you're a good fire chief or fireman or police officer or whatever, then that's a problem, and everyone should see it that way. I don't give a shit what color you are or what you look like or if you poop in a cat litter box, as long as you don't do it at work. But if you can't perform your job, then you shouldn't be in that job. And I don't care. I'll take that one in the fights because that's just how it is. If you can't perform your duties as a mechanic, but they hire you because, they have to fill some obligatory position with someone that doesn't know anything about being a mechanic, sorry, that isn't how it works. I'm not okay with that. You need to be able to perform the functions of your job. Other than that, I don't give a damn what you look like or what you do in your free time. But do your job, everything's fine. That's where the line gets crossed. And I think that, unfortunately, because it requires a blanket, it shouldn't be a blanket, but that's apparently how they're approaching it, is to just blanket all of them, whether they can perform their duties or not, and say, oh, you were a DEI hire, okay, you got to go. Now, like I said, I don't agree with that. If you're a really damn good mechanic or a fire chief or whatever, and you just happen to be a DEI hire, I don't care. Stay on. Keep rocking it. Ha! It just hit me. I had a really good analogy. Last weekend, Maddie Without a Natty and myself had to go to the Utah State Arm Wrestling Championships here in northern Utah. We built them a table, an arm wrestling table that they raffle off. We've done it for a couple of years now, or several years now, that they raffle off for a charitable cause. It's a charitable cause. It's something we like to do. It's a way to help out. We feel good about it. They feel good about it. But so we go over there to deliver the table and generally hang out for a little while, drink beer, and typically laugh at everybody that's had too much pre-workout and testosterone. But hey, you do you. It's a good time. But again, if you're a really good arm wrestler and maybe you're packing more than a little bit of pre-workout, so what? It's not quite the same, in my opinion, as, the kids, for instance, like high school sports. And I realize that I kind of turned left there a little bit, but that's where I have a problem with the DEI stuff. And I'm sure I've said it before. Just because you identify as a female does not mean that you should be competing against my 15-year-old daughter in volleyball or wrestling or whatever else and whooping her ass or whooping all their asses for that matter because you have male genetics or vice versa, whatever. You're a faster swimmer because you don't have, a beanbag weighing you down, but you identify as a male. It's just not the same. And at the end of the day, I don't care other than make it their own class, make it their own division. That's my only thing. When I played football, we, of course, in Ohio, it wouldn't have flown no matter what. But we would have all been like, what the hell? That person, sorry to be inclusive, that dude is way faster than we are. Or whatever, because they identify. It's a double-edged sword, I realize. And that's why I generally don't care to get into it. But come on, if we're going to bitch about some of the stuff we're bitching about, but we don't bitch about that, then we need to really reevaluate our priorities. Just in my opinion. Ugh, Christ. But enough about that stuff. What else we got? Crazy storms. Crazy storms. If you guys are in the Midwest or even down south just a hair, hope everybody's doing all right. At least staying dry and warm. I don't know. Now I can't remember if we ever touched on the storms and things that blew through was it the Carolinas, I guess? Hell, I don't know. Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut about this because I was not prepared. But I know that parts of Texas that have there's probably people in Texas in those parts that have never seen snow, just had a grundle. Places like that. So hope everybody's doing well. It finally snowed here in northern Utah. It's only been, 18 months of winter, and it finally snowed. Decided to come all at once, of course. Why not? Well, it's that global warming. What's his name? Randy Watson? No, I'm teasing. What was his name? That invented the internet. Al Gore. He's the one that warned us about all this. We should have known it was coming, guys. Those polarized caps fell off and landed in our front yards. Son of a bitch. Well, again, he warned us. We should have listened. Speaking of Randy Watson, we touched last time on the fact that we went to J.J. Gray and Mofro at the end of last month. Amazing show, by the way. I highly recommend you guys go and see him, or them, rather. And there's a whole bunch of really great shows coming up. So if anybody's looking for a plus one, in my opinion, a really fun plus one, hit me up, because I would love to be your date. I don't expect flowers, possibly dinner. I mean, dinner never hurts, but no flowers, no expectation of post-show hanky-panky, and I might even pay for my own beer. Just throwing it out there. There's a solid chance that I won't, but it's a possibility. So, again, hit me up. I would love to go and sing all the words to some of these great shows. Also, if you're near Red Rocks and, have an extra couch and want to fly me out there, there's some great ones coming to Red Rocks. And if you're close, I highly recommend you hit them up. Just saying. Sorry, had to pause there for a second to give the old pod dog here her pills. She was letting me know it was past time. That's kind of what maybe America needs. Is to have someone put these pills that are hard to swallow, wrap them up in ham and feed them to us so we don't know we're eating them. Before you come at me with all the crap about the dog can't have ham, for the love of God, she eats ham, she eats grapes, peanuts, chocolate, all the shit that's supposed to kill her. She's alive and kicking just fine, I assure you. So I don't need no ASPCA or PETA, anybody spray paint my damn fur coat. Also, if you see me in a fur coat, congratulate me, because I apparently have made it. Has anyone else noticed that, above all, seems to be very rampant lately? The no one minding their own business thing. I don't know. I know that it's obviously gotten exponentially worse since the internet, but I don't ever remember it being this bad. We've been over this before. I'm pushing 50. Gen X. Man, if things were talked about when we were kids the way they are talked about now, out in the open with strangers, people would have lost their damn minds. Just politics alone. Hell, we couldn't have said half of this shit when we were kids. We'd have got popped in the mouth by our moms and dads. Well, some of us just our moms. While your dad was out getting the milk. But that's a different story. I gotta stop saying it's wild, sorry. But it blows my mind how random ass strangers are just openly talking about this shit at work, on the internet, everywhere. Like it's all of us and just okay. But we would not have dared talk about that shit when we were kids, especially within earshot of our parents. And they certainly didn't talk about it, and their parents before them. Yes, I get that times are changing, but Lord, is some of this stuff better left old school? I think so. I dare say shit was better. A lot of shit was better old school. Ass whoopings, for starters. Take your time out, kid. The hell out of the store, because that's another thing that's rampant lately, is misbehaved, entitled little shits. And frankly, I'm over it. And between that and traffic, I just want to punch babies. If you have a baby and you like babies, that's fine, but some of them should get punched. I ain't gonna lie. You can be mad at me for saying that. I didn't say I'd punch your baby. I'm just saying some babies maybe need to get punched. I know. It's an unpopular opinion, but it's fun. Honestly, personally, I might punch teenagers. Mine specifically. And I'm willing to do the time, I guess. I mean, what are they going to give me? Maybe a weekender? Psh, I got a guy. I got a couple of guys. I'll make some phone calls. I'll be out on Monday to do it all over again when you mouth off about me going to jail. Pop! Right in your mouth. Just like that. Oh, it kills me. I did not raise you like that. Ooh, give me your phone. I'm turning off the internet, you little beep. Damn it. Why are teenagers so hard? I wish there was a playbook. I don't know if you guys, well, some of you guys who did it years ago or have done it with more than the two that I have probably have some better ideas, but the size 14 is really, really sticking out as the number one solution. Can anybody give me some insight to where that's legal? Like to literally kick my teenager's ass? I mean, not like beat them down in the street. Christ, no fists and not on the moneymaker, but like literally just snap my big ass foot off in their ass. I'll bet. I'm willing to bet. Maybe up in Alaska, they have different rules. At least that's what I've heard. I mean, it's way cooler. But I'm certain that somewhere in listener land, it's probably okay to still kick your teenager's ass. They're going to learn, or we're going to go there for vacation. Anyhow, you guys know the drill. At this point, I'm just rambling. But it's been fun. I always just want to wrap it up before I make too much of a dumbass of myself. I don't have anybody to bounce stuff back off of. But speaking of bouncing stuff, guys, give me some feedback. Every once in a while I hear from one or two of you. But let me know. Do you prefer the more serious stuff? Do you prefer the more goofy stuff? Shenanigans? I don't know. I need some feedback. What would you guys like to hear? What can we do to better the show for you guys? Because we're having fun no matter what. And I say we at the moment, me and the dog, but sorry, the dog and I. But, give us a shout. Tell us what you want to hear. I mean, you never know. I'm certain we can arrange, like vice grips on Matt's nipples or, something crazy like that. We try to keep it fun. We try to address some of the hot topics of the moment. I mean, we like I said, we try and keep it a good mix, but let us know, would you please? We always like to hear from you guys. Remember, X12 is coming up in northern Utah, the motorcycle hill climbs. And I can't remember if I told you guys or not, but nitromethane and steel traction adders are now legal again. So it's fixing to get wild. Guys. We got a live band coming this year. It's going to be a great time. It's May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. If I remember right, in Plymouth, Utah, which is only about, let's call it 90 minutes-ish north of Salt Lake. It's really not bad. It's a great time. Come out and enjoy the show. You can camp, see the band, have a good time, watch guys go up crazy-ass mountains on crazy-ass bikes. It's always a good time. Let me think. What else we got coming up? We got all kinds of stuff coming up. Hit us up if you want to be part. Hit us up if you would like us to promote or possibly even sponsor your event. Hit us up if you'd like to sponsor us or any of our events. Just hit us up. Let us know. Like I said, in the meantime, everybody, like I said, there's a lot of good people out there that don't necessarily need a bad shake, so try and keep that in mind when you're being an internet warrior or a picketer, which, by the way, I don't endorse. It's not because of lack of effort on your part. I just think it falls on deaf ears, but that's just me, so don't take my opinion or heed my opinion. If you want to go picket, then by all means go picket. If you want to be a keyboard warrior, by all means be a keyboard warrior. I'm just one dumb mechanic that has his own opinion. The beauty is you guys are absolutely entitled to yours. For the time being, it's still a free country, and we should embrace that. So, like I said, just because I think that it's a waste of time, I could be wrong, So you do you, boo. But be good to one another, and remember that some people, even if you're not going through some shit, which you are, and if you are, rather, I'm sorry. And if there's anything we can do to help, feel free to reach out. But remember that everybody's dealing with their own battles, so try and be good to one another. You never know. You just never know. Anyhow, we'll catch up with you guys real soon. Hope to hear from you. And here we go with season 3. Love you guys lots. Thanks again for listening. Keep it up. Tell your friends. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.